Hello, I'm Mr. Singleton. I'm one of the Associate Science Directors for Outward Academy. This lesson is just about the water cycle. So this is a specification, but all you need to know about here is that the water cycle provides fresh water for plants and animals, and you need to understand what that water cycle is, including things like evaporation and precipitation. So as a pre-starter, I would like you to draw the carbon cycle. This is one of the previous lessons. So draw the carbon cycle, and just to help you there, I've put what processes you need to include. So photosynthesis, respiration, consuming, combustion, and decay. I'll give you 4 minutes, off you go. You've got 2 more minutes. You've got 1 more minute. Okay, 30 more seconds. Right, let's have a look at the answer. So should have got, yours can be much more simplistic than that. So carbon dioxide is taken out of the air by photosynthesis. That plant can then put that back into the atmosphere by respiration. The plant could also be eaten by an animal, which is consuming, and then the animal can respire to release it back into the carbon dioxide. Both the plant and the animal could die, then you would have decay, and that bacteria would respire and put that back into the atmosphere. Or you could have that both of them die and turn into fossil fuels, and then that is combust and put back into the atmosphere as carbon dioxide. So our title today is the water cycle. That needs to be underlined. If you are in school, use your books, please, and underline with today's date. If you are at home, you can just do this on a piece of paper or a revision card. I'll give you 30 seconds. Pause the video if you need to go and get things. Off you go. Our challenge today is to describe how materials are cycled through an ecosystem, and this is part of the lesson about the carbon cycle as well. So we've already done a little bit of that. Our aspire is to interpret and explain the diagrams of the water cycle. Our starter for today is these questions. If you are in school, you can just put these on a whiteboard. If you are at home, then please just put this on a piece of paper. What are the processes that cause ice to turn into a liquid, water to turn into water vapor to then turn back into a liquid, and then water to turn into ice? There are 4 processes there. I want you to come up with the answers. 4 words, 1 minute, off you go. Thirty more seconds. Okay, and so ice turning into a liquid would be melting, water turning into water vapor would be evaporating, kind of except boiling. Water vapor into a liquid then would be condensing, and water into ice would be freezing. So we're going to look at a couple of those processes in the water cycle. As you are very well aware, water is vital for all life. If we ever try and go to another planet or anything, or we're looking for life on another planet, one of the first things we actually do is look for water. The water cycle then provides fresh water for animals and plants on the land before then it's drained into seas and into oceans. And there's lots of different processes involved in the water cycle. But every drop of water that you drink has been through, imagine this, has been through the bodies of many living organisms before you. It's generally cleaned though, so you're okay. Don't stop drinking water. It is vital. So the processes you need to be aware of is this, the 2 probably fairly new ones, and then 2 that you should already know. So I'll go for the hardest one first, which is percolation. Percolation just describes how water passes through the little tiny gaps in soils and in rocks. So percolation is just kind of draining through those gaps in the soil and rocks. Transpiration may be new to you, but you did do some of this in year 9 probably, and that's a process where plants take water through the roots, through the xylem vessels, and then out through the leaves. That's transpiration. So just how water moves through the body of a plant. Rain, sleet, snow, hail, anything like that, and that has been got onto the ground by it condensing from a gas into a liquid. So that is condensing. And then you've got evaporation turning the water from the seas and the lakes and the rivers into gases and into those clouds. So they're the 4 processes. I want you to try and add those processes to this diagram. So draw the quick diagram in your books or on your piece of paper and add those processes. I'm going to give you 4 minutes to do it. Off you go. You've got 2 more minutes. Thirty more seconds. Okay, so this is what you should. The water going up to the sun or into the clouds is evaporation, and then it condenses into rain, which is precipitation. And then the 2 things that can happen to that is either transpiration back into the air or percolation back into rivers or lakes or streams. So that is the water cycle. Make sure you've got that written down. If you are struggling to get that written down, then make sure you pause the video and put this in. So that concludes this lesson. Now, as with all the lessons that I've done, it'd be a really good idea to make a revision card on the end of this. So if you are making a revision card, put biology paper 2. If you're at school, then you can just write these key points down just so you've got them there for when you are revising. So water is cycled through the environment. Water evaporates from seas and lakes, and then what it will do is it will form clouds. It condenses and it falls as precipitate. At that point, it can percolate through rocks and soil. Remember, that's just moving through the gaps in the rocks and the soils. After that, it ends up in rivers, which flow into lakes or the sea or oceans, or it can go into plants, which take the water up through the roots and release it through transpiration. And it comes out through the little stomatas in the leaves. And that is the end of this lesson about the water cycle. Well done, guys. Super effort.